Hello, my name is Alexander Abe, CEO of Plain and Stripes Enterprises. Today I want to share to you on how to keep customer records by using order quotation and order details forms, explains its importance and the instructions how we can print multiple copies with serial number. Before we begin, download the order quotation and order details form via this download URL. In this tutorial, we will explain how to use the order quotation form and order details form. The order quotation form is a form that we accomplished every time the customer is asking for a quotation. Now, all the details that customer wants should be added on the order quotation form, and then we print that form in duplicate so that and we add carbon so that every time everything we write on the order quotation form will be uh, duplicated in the other form. We give that form to the customer, and then the duplicate copy will be saved in our sales and operation records for future references. Now, the order details form is different in the quotation form. When the customer goes back to the shop and they want to make the down payment or they want to fulfill the order, now we accomplish that order by using the order details form. There is a different set of information written in the order details form and the order quotation form. So just remember that after the quotation form, if the customer wants to commit the order, we use the order details form. The file you had downloaded is compatible with version of Microsoft Excel 2007 and above. After your download, open the file using Microsoft Excel. After opening the file, you will see a security warning displayed on the toolbar. Click Options, click Enable this content, and click OK. After enabling macro, change the company logo. Right-click the company logo, click Change Picture, select your logo, and you're done. The next thing is you have to enter your company name. On the next line, enter your address. The third line is for your contact details. And the last part is for your website or your social media accounts. After editing the company logo and the company details on the order details form, make sure you enter the same details on the quotation form. Click the quotation form tab and then enter all the details. Once you're done, press Ctrl S to save. You can add an image on this area. To add an image, click Insert and click Picture. Select the image and place it exactly where you want it to be. Now that we had completed the header, I'll explain to you the parts of the form. The order quotation form must be printed in duplicate. The other one goes to the customer every time they ask for quotation. The other copy goes to the sales and operation records. Make sure that you have the copy every time the customer asks for a quotation, so when the customer goes back, you'll have the full detail of what quotation or what details of the quotation you had given to the customer. If you have multiple branches, you have to indicate the branch over here so you will know where the customer goes to ask for quotation. Now here is the customer form number. This should be printed in serial. I will teach you how to print this in serial by using this button here. Next is the date when the customer asks for quotation, and in this section you have to enter the customer name and the contact numbers. These sections are really important so you can make follow-ups every time the customer asks for quotation. So sometimes they will ask, they will say that they will come back later, and then if just in case they didn't come back, um, give them at least 2 days, and then you can contact them back. Here at Plain and Stripes, we have different approach when asking quotation for the customer. So if you have different approach, you can manually edit these sections and put the details you want to ask for the customer. Also the price per shirt or the number of the production days or any details that you wanted to add, you can put it in here. So we always advise our customer to bring this quotation every time they're making the down payment. So when the customer goes back, our sales personnel on site can know what are the details or what is the quotation given to the customer. So when they issue an order details form, the details on the order quotation form and the order details form should match. On the middle section of the quotation form, we have a sketch here of the shirt. So in here, you have to sketch the details of what the customer are wanted to be printed on the shirt. So like in here, I can draw a box here and then an arrow up specifying here the font name, the ink color, or the height and width of that the name. Or if there's an other design, or if it's a full back print, you can add a big box in here, and then you specify the details of the back print. On the front print, the front section, we specify here if it's going to be a v-neck or with collar. So we draw here a v-neck, or we draw with collar. And then on this part, if the customer wants to have with collar with pocket, so we draw a pocket in this section. Or if it's around like with name over here, or a logo of their company, we specify here. So do not forget to write every details of the design that the customer is wanting to have. Now, some of the customers, they wanted to have a name in this section, or name in this part, or name in this part. So you have to specify everything. All the details that the customer wanted should be printed or specified on this section of the quotation form. The bottom section of the quotation form is where we put the sales personnel or the name of the person who issued this quotation form to the customer, so that when the customer goes back, they will know who to look for. The section in here, this is where we put the pricing details of the customer orders. So if the customer orders is v-neck or round neck, we put it in here, and the quantity per the quantity of that order and the price per piece, and we calculate the total. So we put a lot of section empty area in here. Sometimes the customer orders a v-neck or round neck or combinations of both, and round neck with collar. So as we specify everything in this area. Now the quantity and the price per piece and the total, and then if there's a deduction or a discount, you specify it in here, and you compute the grand total per item. Now, after you had completed that, you compute the grand total and specify here. Now, depending on the percentage of the down payment, here at Plain and Stripes, we ask for 70%. So we calculate the 70% of the net total, and then we indicate the balance. So in here, we specify the details who created this quotation form, so you can manually enter or modify this section. So that completes the quotation form. So how we print this form in serial, so we have to click this button in this section. Now here in the settings window, we specify here the how we print the sequence of the serial numbers. So on this first option is the length. If you specify here 6 characters, it will show you a trailing 0 of 5 and the number of the quotation form. If the number is 10, then it will add 4 zeros and the number 1 and 0 in here. Now the target cell is the target where we want to print or where we want to specify the serial number. In case you want to specify the serial number in the different range of the form, for example, this range is M5 column M and row 5. If you want to specify that serial number in the different parts of the form, you can do that by specifying the target cell. Now here is the enter form numbers. This is the serials. This is the sequence of the serial number. You can specify 1 to 10, 1 to 100, or if you want to print 100 to 200, you can specify the four numbers by putting it in here. Now the action, we have two actions. One first is the test form number, and the second is send to printer. If we want, if we only want to test the serial number, select this option and then click execute. As you can see here, every time the message appears, the sequence number adds or increments. Now, after you finish clicking the yes on the message, it will tell you that the test has completed. Now, let's say, for example, we want to print 11 to 20, so you specify here the sequence and then you execute the action. As you can see here, it will increment depending on the range that you had entered. Now, the second option of the action is send to printer. Now, there's a show message to cancel in here. If it is marked checked every time you click the execute action, and then it will show you a message that that sequence is going to be sent to the printer, and then you can press control break anytime if you want to cancel. So for example, this print job is going to be sent to the printer. If you click OK, as you can see there, print job message appear that you are sending a print job to the printer. If you click OK again, the second job print job is going to the printer. Now, if you want to cancel, in case there's a problem on the printer, or you just want to cancel that print job, you press control break on your keyboard, and this will appear. You press end, and that window will close, and that sequence, that sending print job to the printer will be cancelled. So if we click on the option, if we did not select the show message to cancel, if we uncheck that, when you click execute action, it will continuously send the print job to the printer. So uh, it will not require human intervention when printing the print job to the printer. Now here is the order. If you want to print in ascending order, it will and you specify here the range. For example, I just want to test it from 11 to 20. Once I execute the action, if the order is in ascending, as you can see there, it produces a sequence number in ascending order. If I selected descending and click execute action, you will see here that it produces a sequence in descending order. So this is how we print the order quotation form in serials. Now remember that it is important that you make a form with serial number. So just in case you want to check for a record, there's a signature of that form that you can easily find. You can put that serial number on the customer order details database. So every time the customer wants to ask or reorder that order, now you can just check their quotation form, and then you can easily give the price to the customer. So this is how we print the order quotation form in serial number. Remember that this file is using macro to send print job to the printer. So as you can see here, there's a warning. If you had downloaded this file not from this original download source, it may be containing a code that can destroy your computer or make some problems with your computer, so always remember that you should download this file using this original download source URL. Now, for those of you who doesn't know what is a macro, macro is a set of instructions that tells your program what to do. So be careful. Again, I'm telling you this warning just to make sure that you understand what is a macro when you are running a macro-based file using your Microsoft Excel or any Microsoft application. To give you a tip, if the instruction or the macro instructions is safe, so just press Alt F11 on your keyboard and then a Visual Basic Editor or macro editor will appear. Now, if you know some programmer of you or if you are a programmer who can understand the code, then you can just open the form and then or right click it and then view code. Now in here you can see the commands that is being done by this particular macro, so you can see for yourself if the macro is safe or not. So you can ask for your IT manager to verify if the macro is correct, or if the macro is not a malicious instruction, and then you can start using the macro of your Excel file. So please be warned that this file is using macros, so you should download only this file by this original download source URL. Another tips when you are printing, before you print this quotation form, you have to verify if the page layout is properly set. So in here you can specify that the size of the paper is a legal size, because the options or the this quotation form is going to be printed, should be printed in 8.5 by 13 legal size. So if you prefer a much smaller paper or much uh, bigger paper like 8.5.14, so you have to specify that in the page layout, the size of the page layout. Now another thing is you have to make the printer default. So when the macro is executing, it will directly send that print job to that default printer. In case that you haven't specified the default printer, you have to specify it first before you send that print job to the printer. Now here is the now we had concluded the order quotation form. Let's go now to the order details form. The order details form is the actual order details of that customer. Now the order quotation form is just for making quotations. Now once the customer makes the order, you have to transfer the details from quotation form to the order details form. Now here we get the actual information of the customer. So you can see here the customer name. We need to input the customer name and their address, their contact number, and email address, just in case we want to communicate with them via email. And then on this area, we have the actual payments. The design description, as you can see here, they're just the same. The order details form and the quotation form, just asking for the same set of details. Now, as you can see here, there's also a canvas where you can indicate the record of the or the design information of the customer. Next is the order details form also has this section. The CR number is this is the collection receipt number, and the OR is the official receipt number. If the customer makes the down payment, we issue them a collection receipt number, and that collection receipt number should be written manually in here. And of course, we ask for the signature of the customer so that whatever is stated on this design canvas, they fully understand or they agree on what we had written in here. Now, also on this part, the same section in the quotation form, as you can see in here, the actual balance, the net total, and the down payment also is also specified here. Now, as you can see on the top of this form, this is the actual payment. Sometimes the calculated information specified in here, for example, the net total is 1,000. The down payment, or we will ask, is 70%. So specify here 700, and the balance is 300. But the problem is, or the good side on sometimes the customer do is they actually made payment in full. So the total order should be specified here 1,000. The down payment should be 0, and the balance is 1,000. Next is this part is the information where what the or how the order of the customer will be sent to the customer. It's either a pickup or will be sent by via delivery via this courier. So you manually write this information here. If the product will be sent, if the job order will be sent to the customer by using a courier, you have to specify here the receiver's name, the contact number, the shipping address, and this is very important, the shipping date. So you always need to ask the customer when they will be needing their orders, so that this way they will you will know, or your production department will know until when this order should be finished. Next is the sales personnel who accomplished this form must be specified in here. We should print their name and their signature. If the customer wants to pick up the uh, the order, so you have to specify here who claimed the order and then the date they claimed the order. And then again, here is the version of this form. Just in case you edited this form, you have to specify here the form number and the version number. When did you make this form, so your users will know, or your sales personnel will know if they are using the recent form of the order details form. Now that concludes our tutorial for the order quotation and order details form. If you have any question, you can comment your questions below. And then if you need some other tips and tricks, you can visit our Facebook page and look for Plain Stripes, and you can send directly your questions to our page. And don't forget to click subscribe for more tips that we are going to add on our YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching.